Let's get the very latest on Kylian Mbappe's future with Spanish football expert Alvaro Montero, who's live with us now from France, as he's actually with the France national squad where Mbappe is. Alvaro, welcome first of all to Deadline Day. We're hearing that Real Madrid haven't given up hope of trying to sign Kylian Mbappe. What have you heard?
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, that's the feeling inside the club, inside Real Madrid. Let's say two things. I'm pretty sure Gary has informed you perfectly, but inside of Real Madrid, the feeling is that it's not impossible, but extremely difficult if you compare it with 3 or 4 days ago. There are two things important to say. First, Real Madrid in the last hour, as the sources I've consulted, denied that they have done that famous 200 million euros offer. There's no bid of 200 millions. But they answer, if Paris Saint-Germain asks for that money, okay, maybe we can pay that. But the problem, and this is the second thing I have to say about that, is that inside Real Madrid, they've got the feeling, especially in the last 48 hours, that Kylian Mbappe could stay because Paris Saint-Germain do not want to negotiate. They don't want to sit down in a table. And they say it's impossible to buy a player if you do a bid, but there's no response, no answer, and they don't get in the table sitting with you.
Alvaro, we've seen Real Madrid do some special things on Deadline Day, but can you actually see them pulling this one off, or they're going to have to wait till January to sign that pre-contractual agreement?
Yeah, it seems that, and it's a good question because inside the club, although they know there's a desire of the player, as we said in Sky Sports in the last days, of Kylian Mbappe to sign, it was his desire since he was 12, 13 years old when he met Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, in Valdebebas with all those posters in his room. But it seems that it's going to be difficult because they've got this feeling, this scare, this threat that he could stay because they convinced him. But I insist, the player wants to not leave Paris Saint-Germain but sign Real Madrid. But they've got this feeling that it's going to be more difficult, and they rather to pay now that 180 million or maybe 200 million euros, but sign him now because in 3, 4 months many things can happen.
Let's move away from Real Madrid just for the moment. And of course, we know that Emerson Royal is having his medical today ahead of that £25 million move to Tottenham Hotspur. Give us the finer details of the deal, and also what type of player is Spurs potentially going to sign?
Yeah, it's a strange situation because he played only 3 games for Football Club Barcelona this season. He played 3 days ago, and it seems that he was going to be the future of the right back, but he's going to leave for 25 million euros plus 5 of bonus. I believe myself, because in Barcelona they said that Nuno Espiritu Santo won him for Tottenham. He followed him from many years ago when he played for Betis in Seville, and now we can say that he's not as good as those typical Brazilian players, such as in the last year, for instance, Dani Alves. He's not as technical as him, but he's very quick, box-to-box player, and it's a muscle player, so I think Premier League will fit him perfectly because he can do many things in Tottenham Hotspur for sure.
I don't want to make this a Real Madrid segment, but I'm going to make this a Real Madrid segment. I'm going to ask you one more question about Real Madrid because, of course, we know the latest is that they're in for Eduardo Camavinga. Now, you give us the latest in terms of what he can bring to that Real Madrid team and why they're so interested in him as a midfielder as well.
Well, he's a very young player. He's 18 years old. Real Madrid followed him in the last 2 years. We all know in Spain that he was about to sign, but maybe we thought about next year. That's why many people in Madrid feels inside the press that it's quite a revenge of Florentino Perez and Real Madrid to Paris Saint-Germain because of the Kylian Mbappe situation, because it was said here in France that it was a player that could arrive to Paris Saint-Germain. Is typical technique player, very strong, also box-to-box. He plays well, physically proper, and they've got this feeling that in a Real Madrid with Toni Kroos, with Luka Modric or with Casemiro, it's perfect to play with these experienced players, and not old, but with more than 30 years old players, a player that can be the future for Real Madrid, Eduardo Camavinga.
Alvaro, pleasure as always, and make sure you say hi to Gary for us down there in France as well.
Sure, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.